Hello everyone, odedex here, welcome to episode 89 of Listen to Let's Play. So I'm hanging out here in my HV solar array factory for a specific reason. I actually fed it up a little bit some more iron and some good stuff, and I'm basically just at the point where if I throw my current MVs, I got my new HVs. So I wanted to share it at the moment with you guys. So I already got this one medium voltage one that I've created here. So I think it's a good time to finally take out those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 MVs, medium voltage solar arrays. Finally get to my first HV solar array, and we got it. Woohoo! My first one, approximately 9 episodes after it was officially made the factory. Did I make it at episode 80 or 70? I don't remember. It was a long time ago though. Anyway, there we have it. So actually crafting this, I started thinking about it. I decided to change my mind. I'm going to try, or pretty much guarantee, that by episode 80, or sorry, by episode 90, my HV placement, automatic placement, will be completed. Now, if it will be permanently working or not, I don't know, but it will have at least a prototype of the final design. Now you can see, I think pretty much for a fact, now this mass fabricator is creating UV matter faster than the one in my overall, just for a side note. So I was thinking about the design and actually realized that I could very much use the same one I'm using in my red power mining quarry. Let me quickly get there and you'll understand why. Essentially, when you think about it, there are 3 directions. There is going one way, going the other way, and then moving to the third direction for one time. And this is pretty much exactly the same thing. Actually came back here, for example, but actually let me explain. So the idea here is placing a fiber cable, placing the HV one, and then moving forward, and then again, until I get to the corner, move one backwards, and then move to the left. And then again, move one backwards and move one to the left. And when you think about it, it's pretty much identical design to what I have in my red power quarry. Now let's get there. It's right over here. It actually will take quite some time getting to the other side. Yeah, the quarry has proven its worth. You can see how large of a quarry it made. Yeah, I'm running for quite some time. I probably should move my linking book at least here. Alright, so when you think about it, let me quickly turn it off. The logic is the same. I'm going one direction, which is for example right now down, going another direction, which specifically is forward, and then going the other direction, the same length, which is up. So in theory, I can copy that identical circuit, probably make some tiny modifications to it, and of course rewire or change the directions of all the motors. But overall, since the idea is pretty much the same, this is why I decided to actually do this. Try and do this in 2 episodes, or at least have it completed by the next episode, because it probably is a lot simpler than what I thought it would be. Thought it would be complicated. So I'm actually gonna off-screen quickly make all the necessary components, which are frames, frame motors, a lot of batteries, some solar panels, a lot of different color cables, the circuitry, the gates, everything, so we can hopefully get started. And let's not forget to turn it on again. Hopefully get started and have that thing working as soon as possible. Obviously I won't be able to test it with real HVs, because at the moment I'm only making one for the past 10 episodes or so, so yeah, it's not that efficient yet, or not that fast at least. So it's gonna be tested with something like oh, I have a lot of spare materials here, something like cobblestone, or I don't know, some other random block. But yeah, let me get started. Let me get all the preparations done, and we can get started. And just a very tiny tangent regarding bees. I am going to continue dealing with them. However, I'm going to do this pretty much off screen. So I already got myself a couple of enchanted ones and so on. I am going to continue doing this, but off screen. So eventually when the project is completed, I may be a couple of steps forward towards my Starkby, the one that I want. Oh, and one more quick tangent disregarding this. I have turned off my snowball machines because when blazes die by waters, they still drop blaze rods, but I've actually figured out that having all those idle experience orbs here had actually hurt my FPS. So I'm still generating the blaze rods, but I'm no longer generating XP, since I don't need XP. And I'm still generating the blaze rods necessary for my generators here, so there is no problem in there, just no XP and less lag. Alright, so in theory I should have everything I need. However, the way I know how things work usually it's not the case, and I'm going to need different things as well. Mostly this area composites of the actual logic and most of the actual building materials. Now, as you can see, I originally designed it to look like this, like to have this line going from here and make it look very nice. This is probably not going to be the case. I'm mostly going to change that, at least have it running from at least outside. There may be some losses eventually from basically giving less energy over time. Still making up my mind. You know what, I'm gonna have it look like this. This should be fine. So the first placement will be here, then going like this, 10. Arbitrarily pick 10, no real reason why, and then go left, right, left, right. Now, yeah, actually just noticed I did forget my deployers, because while I'm thinking about how to build this, starting from the deployers themselves would be the wise thing, and I did forget those. So let's get 2 deployers. Let's get some reference glass fiber cables. At the moment, glass fiber cables will be manually inputted. However, at some point, probably going to automate their crafting, but I don't know about that yet. For the time being, I'm going to just place them manually. You also have to keep in mind that 1 fiber cable is for 1 HV solar array. By the time that I actually need to make sure that I have it automated so I don't forget, will be the time where I'm creating so many of those so fast. Yeah, so this shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so assuming this will be the start point, so let's have those and rotate them. Okay, and okay, so I'm just gonna get started. There is no real design. Letting you know, there's no real design here. Nothing, at least, that I've pre-made before. This is kind of right off the top of my head. I do have reference design to my red power quarry one, basically to my quarry one. Kind of nearby here, I have this screenshot on a different screen so I can see how it looks like. But overall, I'm kind of improvising here. Okay, so this shouldn't be too large. However, the logic did take quite a large portion. I may not need all of it, but to start with, I'm gonna have all the logic. Now, this I'm really not. You also need to remember that unlike the previous project, my Red Power Quarry project, which moved a ton of frames, actually needed a lot of power, and I used like 16 or even 24 solar panels there. Here, it's barely going to move anything. There are no giant lines of block breakers or anything like that, so it's unnecessary and not a problem at all. I don't mind kind of building a very large platform to begin with, so I can have a nice room to work with. Okay, so those 2 deployers are connected to these 2 redstone tubes, redstone frubes. I forgot some jacketed wire, which I'm going to need, so they can actually interact with other sources of redstone. I should have some jacketed wire spare. There we go, lying around. And let's have a quick manual test just to make sure, so there are no surprises, that this actually works. There are surprises sometimes. Let's just make sure that those 2 deployers as is can actually place a fiber cable and a solar panel without any problem. So I'm gonna need some alloy wire as well. And let's give it a test. So place fiber cables here, temporarily remove this, move it and place it here, remove this, and give it a quick test. So if everything goes right, yeah, why did this fiber cable get placed here? This is fine. This is not. Why is this being placed here? What? It doesn't even make sense. What happened if I trigger it again? Okay, this is silly. So deploying fiber cables apparently isn't working the way you would expect it to. Well, I can only solve that by simply placing the deployer here. However, I'm gonna need to apply a cover to the frame holding it together, like this, and here as well. So now it works. By the way, I think you can break HVs with a wrench, but I'm not going to test it. Not in my survival game. Okay, let's give it a test. Okay, now it works. Looks funny, but in terms of purpose, it's just exactly the same thing, so there is no problem here. Alright, so this works, so I can let it run meanwhile, not interfere with the actual generation. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna need to have some sort of a placeholder chest and some cobblestone, and yeah, I'm just now trying to realize that I'm missing some things. I'm going to create an item detector. Relatively simple, I can craft that without any problems. I'm gonna need some pressure plates, some tubes, which actually will be a good thing to get as well. I'm gonna need, not for the item detector, but for the project, not for the actual project itself. 2 pressure plates first, or only one pressure plate. What am I missing? Pneumatic tube, red doped wafer, okay. Apparently it hates this. Oh, I don't have brass, so it doesn't hate this. Brass. Okay, so item detector, and a chest, and a transposer. Told you I'm missing things, but over time I'm gonna get them. And okay, let's just use wood as a placeholder. Wrong age. Okay. So the item detector will be what's deciding whenever there is an actual thing in the system. So let's put it like this. No, I need to separate this. I need it to be on a separate redstone signal. An item detector, if you're not familiar with it, the moment an item flows through it, it sends a redstone signal, basically to whatever connected. So I don't want it to be connected to the same deployer, because you have to keep in mind that when the item detector has the item flowing through it, it will still need to have that tubing section to go through, and if the signal goes out directly, it is a problem. I am considering actually, can I place it directly into here? This is actually something I did not consider. Like this. If I'm gonna have frame here. I'm running out of frames, and a cover here to make sure it doesn't interact with fiber. This then is actually not a problem. I just need to also send a signal to the bottom deployer at the same time. Using those red power fubes is very convenient and actually serves no purpose in terms of tubes, but it does send the resonance signal over the frames themselves. It's very convenient. Let's see if that works. I think it might not. There are some issues sometimes with item detectors needing to have an empty inventory or empty tubing network between them and the target inventory, otherwise they have a problem. But I think it actually works only with the entry point and not the out point, so it's fine. Okay, so there will be a transposer here. I'm gonna need another cover, another frame, and the temporary chest, which will, for the sake of this testing, will indeed hold the HV array. So this is going here. This has some fiber cables. There we go. So let's test run it. So this transposer will have a timer, and whenever it actually finds something. Okay, so it works. Oh, nice. So this is actually something I didn't think about, but thought about only here. Okay, so the plan here will be, you can actually already set it up, is to have a timer. I'm going to also actually shut off this timer by default. That will simply tick the transposer out of the chest every so often. Let's start with every 10 seconds. And rotate it and turn it off. It's not going to happen anytime soon. So once it goes through, only then the item detector sends a signal. And I'm doing this on purpose. I want the entire logic only to work whenever there is an actual placement. It shouldn't work whenever there isn't a placement, only when there is an actual placement. So the timer here is only set for this specific transposer and nothing else. It will not be a part of the logic. This item detector will be the source of the logic, and actually you can start setting it up. So let's connect it the following way. So this will be here, and if you remember the way my red power quarry looks, it's gonna look, I'm gonna make it look exactly the same pretty much. So this is going to start being, you know what, let's go one block further even, so room to maneuver. So this will be the counter. Let's start just placing a ton of those red covers. And if you're not familiar with my method, I like using red covers and red panels and green covers, because in my mind red means bad, green means good. Like, you know, usually green means go, and red means stop. So stuff will stick to the red areas, surfaces, and green will let things slide. So I'm using the red power gems to create those, using the blocks. Okay, so let's get all the logic. We should have most of the gates here. I'm gonna need to actually set up the motors, but not yet. Let's get rid of things that I don't need at the moment. Most of those are unnecessary. And let's get all the logic. Also got the same colored cables. And this should be everything. Let's also get the cover strip. Let's get started. So this will have a counter right here. This again replaces the timer. This signal replaces the timer on my quarry. So this will have a counter counting to 10, starting with 1. I'm gonna quickly give it a small tick because it's already at this first spot when you think about it. So there you go. Or actually, it needs to move only 9 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, back. 1, 2, 3. Okay, it only needs to move 9 times, so it actually should be resetted and move 9 times, not 10. Even though logically it moves 10 times, but you know. This will be non-invert cell. Non-invert cell transfers a signal, and a split second afterwards transfer it to the bottom, to the top section as well. So it's resetting it after the signal goes through. Signal goes through into a repeater with no delay, as is, into a toggle latch. And this toggle latch will be connected to 2 AND gates, 1 and 2, all of them turned on. I will need, yeah, I'm going to need a repeater here, so that's fine. So a repeater going into here. I'm going to need more frames and more panels. Yeah, I'm going to need more of those. Both of those repeaters are set to 2 pixels difference, so basically 2 clicks or 3 delay. Right here I'm going to have my NOR gates, here and here. This will be connected here. This will be separated with a strip. It's a different network. They don't need to interact. This will go into 2 buffer gates, 1 and 2. And now, to top it off, 2 state cells. Let's have them, I think they look like, this will need to be mirrored, and this looks like this. And by default, I think they're, yeah, the 2 seconds intervals are fine. And that's it in terms of logic. So let's see. Every time a signal comes from, basically every time my item detector places something, it's going to tick. Every tick it's going to move either backwards or forwards. This is something I'm going to designate right now. And when that happens, okay, I'm going to finish up making a bigger area with frames and more panels to work with. I'm getting confused here with such a tiny place. So let me get that. Okay, so I made it larger, and you also have to remember I'm not going for compact. I'm going for functional, and I'm going for something that's easy to understand. So also before continuing, I think it will be a good idea to actually set up the movement system. So I'm going to make it very logical. I'm going to make moving towards this direction over here. So I'm going to prepare the 3x3 area that it requires. I'm going to make moving towards this direction over here. And here I'm going to make it right over here in the middle roughly. Can I make it directly in the middle? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, I can. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. Right in the middle. So all you OCD guys can be quite relaxed. It's not gonna look weird. I am, however, gonna need more frames, which I thought I had enough. Let's just build it first and then fix it. Okay, so every time I'm making this, I kind of forget on how to do this. This needs to be looking towards this direction, which will be over there, but facing down like this. And so this goes there, and then this looks here. This needs to be a cover. So this is a cover. This needs to be a state cell. And this needs to be a frame. Yep, I'm gonna need more frames. Okay, so I got my stack of frames. And if you're not familiar with the design, this is pretty much an inchworm design, meaning that this thing moves on its own. The way it works is using the same principle of the null cell, the non-inverted null cell. And so whenever the signal will come through here, from whatever color it is, it first is going to move, it's going to cause this frame motor to move the entire thing, and only whenever the frame finishes moving, this non-inverted null cell is going to update, and the rest of the signal for the top section is going to go through and then move this back here. And having the frame here makes sure that whenever it moves, whenever the frame contraption moves for not that reason, not using that frame motor, it's still going to keep it together. It's kind of a property that frames have. So I'm going to need a battery here, I'm going to need a battery here, and this is pretty much set. Let's set up the other direction, pretty much looks directly right, exactly the same, just mirrored. So frame here, this looks towards this direction, looking down. This looks towards, oh come on, a wisp now, really? Do we need that? Do we really need that? Come on, I didn't want to do this, you started. Yeah, but kind of evasive, this one. There we go. Okay. So, this looks over here, over that direction, and there we go. Same logic, same principle. Two more battery boxes, one here and one here, panels for the future colored cable. And the last one will be here, so this goes over that direction. So let's have the frame motor right here. Or no, that's fine. And one here, let's rotate them. So this looks down with the blob section towards there. This looks over here, like this. I also forgot, oh, I didn't forget. Okay, so the panel here is to make sure that this slides without any problem. You know what, it might actually not be necessary, but I don't know, I just like placing it there, it makes sense for me. So battery box here, and connect with panels. And I just need to power everything, and everything should be working in order. Let's actually start placing the solar panels. Or no, what? Let's not. Let's first finish up with the logic. Okay, so the thing I did with the timer as well is actually treated it as a white wire. Now, where is my white wire? Did I not bring it? Am I out of white wire? Okay, I guess I am. Let's just get some more. Okay, so as I've said, I treated this like the white wire, so I'm gonna do that again. Let's have it looking like this. I'm going the white wire to be entry point here and here as well. Let's say it's going to start in this direction because it's going to go towards there. Again, I like making everything logical, even though since I'm using colored cables doesn't actually mean which end gate goes where, but logically this end gate should go over there in my opinion. So let's make it the same colors. So this logic gate will be here, and this color will be here, and okay, that color again is gonna be orange, similar to whatever I'm doing. Oh wait, I need a repeater here according to my original design. So let's have one repeater on one tick difference with a color here, and this one is also orange, and this is also orange. And watching my reference picture, everything should be logically correct, just need to connect everything with the bundled cable. So let's do that. So this needs to go here. Probably gonna need some more bundled cable, I have a feeling. Yep, I am. And I think I also added manual levers on my red power one. I don't know if I actually gonna need it. But overall, anyway, I'm gonna need some more bundled cables, so let me get those. Okay, so I got a bunch more bundled cables, should be fine. So one goes here, one goes here, and the final one goes here. I actually forgot this. This should be, going forward, should be the orange one. So this goes here. Basically the only thing remains is to power everything. Let's power it. Just go around again. I'm adding more panels and more frames. I don't really mind, so let's connect it like this. So this can be connected from here. This will be connected from, actually I don't have to do this, I can just connect it like this. Let's see, so this will need to go around, whether I like it or not. And amount of covers. Okay, let's use unused covers. Technically unused frames. Because if I don't need the cover, I don't need the frame, because they're going to be connected just someplace else, but it's not a big deal at the moment. Okay, even though, you know what, I can probably use separate power networks. No, let's be easier. So this will be on its own network. 1, 2, 3, 4. And where are my solar panels? So let's place 2 for the going forward one, because it's the one that's going to be least used. Let's have 3 for this one. And for the OCD guys of you, it's going to be looking quite awesome. Take a look at that. So 1 here, and 1 here. Isn't that awesome? So there you go, looking quite nicely. And again, same idea here. Oh, I actually forgot frames. That's silly. Okay, so it's gonna look ugly. Sorry. Let's go around. This has to go away. Cable, 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 cable. Panel. And again. And by the way, I'm not skipping the video on purpose. It's also something I said on the previous project, on the Red Power Quarry project. I'd like you guys, I think most of you guys will actually be interested in the actual building part, so I'm keeping it as a part of the video on purpose. I'm getting hungry. Where's my food? That cow farm that I built so many episodes ago have proven to be so useful. Okay, this is okay, actually that's necessary, but this is unnecessary, so it's this. And a lot more of unnecessary panels here. Oh, come on, really? Where's my sword? I wonder how they come here. I mean, just a tiny bit of vis that I'm using on my tools is draining that amount of vis that's causing them to spawn. Usually you need a negative flux or to actually make those guys spawn. I don't know, how do they make it so fast? Okay, so 1, 2, and 3. Connect everything. Everything on a separate network. That shouldn't be a problem. Most of them are barely going to actually do anything, so it's not really any difference. And since it's permanently daylight, it's not a problem as well. Can tear those apart, all the unused frames. Can replace them if it's necessary in the future. So even the so small strain that those frame motors are doing, it's going to be even smaller compared to my Red Power Quarry, of course. Let's make sure that everything is connected, so it's at least making sense. You know what, let's have a quick test. Can this go forward, can this go backwards, and so on. So the purple one, can it go forward? It's going to need power first though. Yeah, let's give it a sec. Okay, this is powered already, so let's give it a test. Can it go forward? Yep, it can, and it does it twice, because that's just the way it works. So this works fine. Let's see, can it go the other way? Actually, it's going still into power. Can it go? Checking if it can go backwards is a problem, because I can't go forward if I need to, so I'm not going to check that. I'm going to assume it's going to work. It's going to need to power itself. But yeah, you can see all my other interim drives are still here. None of them kind of got offsetted or something. The frames in place keep them in place. That's the design. And it's actually, when you think about it, it's kind of doesn't make sense, the logic here, because if the actual frame is moving the frame construction, that frame doesn't make a difference. Like, it ignores the fact that it's connected to the same loop. But if a different frame moves it, then it keeps it apart, then it keeps it together. So it's a logic you need to get your head around. So maybe confusing to some. I can understand why, if so. Just a tiny bit more power, come on. Alright, while pausing, I actually noticed that the episode has been going quite longer than I expected. Let's just see, however. Does it work? Yep, it does. Okay, so can reinstate the proper colored cables. So this is purple or magenta, and this is light blue. Apparently I also took away the bundled cable here. Alright, so this is actually going a lot faster than expected. I most likely will have it completely perfected and working by the next episode. In theory, this should be working right now, but I still haven't tested it yet, so I won't not declaring it working yet. However, next episode being episode 90, it should be completed and perfected. So, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.